Hi, Dianna Effner here, back in the studio, and I just wanted to share some quick tricks on decorating doll shoes. I found some products that work really well. These are some shoes that come in white. I had them produced in white. These are for the little darlings, and these are for our 11-inch toddlers or 11-inch portrait dolls. These black ones are also to fit the little darlings, but they do fit, I believe they fit the sweet petite body as well. I found this type of dye turns out to be really good for coloring any kind of fiber, so we just mix it and paint it right onto the cloth part of these shoes, and it works really well. This pair, I was going for a denim blue, so I had to mix and mix and mix all kinds of colors, starting with blue and adding some black, a little bit of purple, a little bit of red. Kept adding colors until it looked like denim blue to me. And for this pair, I had to water the color down quite a bit because the colors are very intense. This would be maybe the red and then some of the pink mixed in. I also dyed the shoelaces with the tumble dye. I dyed them a little bit different color. Here's another pair of pastels that were done with watered down tumble dyes, and also colored the laces with the tumble dyes. This pair in white was dyed with the a bright color of the tumble dyes. I'm not sure which color this was. It might have been this kind of day glow pink, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. It was a while ago. And the laces were dyed with tumble dyes. See how bright the color is? I put some turquoise over this and on the lining too to give it a little bit of a different shade. But these are the black high tops. And this will give you an idea of how bright the tumble dyes can be on your fabric, any kind of fabric. They really do work on any kind of fiber because they work differently than other dyes. They have some kind of little particles that embed themselves in the fibers of the fabric, and then you heat set it. That's why it's called tumble dye, because you can put it in your dryer, or you can use a hair dryer or something to introduce heat, which melts the little fibers, and they get trapped in the fibers of the fabric that you're dyeing. They use it for tie-dye and all kinds of things. So it's a really interesting new product. One thing I like to do is just to take some regular manufactured shoes, and I like to trim them down a little bit to make them a little bit daintier, and then paint them different colors. Here's a pair that I trimmed down a little bit and added a strap of another type of material, and I painted them and added some glitter, and I painted the inside with gold paint. I use Jo Sonia's paints mainly because that's what I have, that I use for the little darlings, and it comes in wonderful colors and it works great on shoes. This is a pair that I also trimmed down. You can see the different contour when you compare it to the manufactured shoe. And then I painted it, it might have been a black shoe to start with, and I painted it brown, and I added some brown flocking so it looks sort of like a velvet texture. And painted the inside. Okay. Also, we have the little sandals, that this is how they come from the factory, and I like to take those and just add some paint. I think I started working on these. I trimmed some of the I changed the style of them a little bit by cutting off some of the leather parts. It's not real leather, it's fake leather, but and then painted it with the Jo Sonja's gold paint. They have actually two colors of gold paint. They have pale gold and rich gold. This is the pale gold. And here's a pair that I trimmed and painted and added a bit of pearl white paint, which gives it a shimmer that looks a little bit like really tiny glitter. You can't see it very well on the video, but it does have a shimmer like glitter. And I also built up the sole with clay to make it a little bit more realistic, just shaped with a toothpick. Here's another one that was painted various colors, and then I added the pearl white over the blue and thin down gold over the green to give it a metallic sheen over the colors, just layering the colors. Okay. And then, of course, this is a sandal that I made from scratch using the hardy clay for the insole and creating embellishments with hardy clay. And I don't know I think oh, one thing I did that I want to mention is that I painted the reverse side of the Ultra Suede with some acrylic paint, which gave it a little bit more body, because this is very lightweight Ultra Suede. And then I sculpted the sole with a type of clay that's air dries also. It's fun to create shoes that that go with the outfits that you make. You can do any kind of color. Sometimes I use a Copic marker. These markers come in many colors, and you can layer the colors and get all kinds of variations in the colors. And then with these, I think they may have been colored with the markers, and then I did a layer of thin down pearl white or pale gold Jo Sonja's paints to get the metallic effect. And the embellishments were sculpted out of hardy clay and then painted with the metallic colors also. Here's a pair that were not made from scratch. They were made from a shoe that looked like this to start with, a little Mary Jane. And I added a thicker sole. I painted and flocked the top. I took off the buckle and put a little piece of Velcro here to hold the strap. And I made these decorations with some punches and some hardy clay and paper. And in a minute, I'm going to show you some of the tools I use when I decorate shoes. Be right back. Here's a quick demo on sculpting the little embellishments for the sandals. I use the Kemper, that's not that one. I'm going to use this Kemper clay punch, or clay cutter, it's called, the little plunger. And I'm working on something that I can turn. You can use a little jar lid or whatever you have. Let's see if the clay is a good consistency. Okay. You might not need to use glue, but I'm going to put some in just in case, because these beads do tend to slip out sometimes. Okay. Oops. So pretty soft clay. Pretty soft clay. Well, that's the basic idea. And for the butterfly, I can use the same flower clay cutter. Oops. Well, that's the basic idea, I guess. If you want to make a bigger butterfly, you can use the same cutter, say for the background butterfly. Just make it a little bit thicker and squash it a little bit more. Another way to make little flower shapes for decorating little shoes is with these punches from Punch Bunch. They come in a lot of different shapes, and you can use paper for the decorations, and then I like to use Copic markers to touch up the color to get the exact color that I would like. And also you can use a thin piece of dry hardy clay, and that way you get a thicker, I think that's what I used on these, is hardy clay that was rolled very thin and then dried and then punched with the Punch Bunch punches. And for the centers of the flowers, I like to use a piece of ultra suede, and to cut the little round shapes, I use a Japanese screw punch. And this is a really handy tool to have if you're going to be making shoes, because it really comes in handy for any time you want to make a hole for a shoelace or and also it comes with tips of various sizes, starting with 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter, 2 millimeter, up to 4 millimeter. And it's a very easy tool to use. Just punch. And then you have to take off the nib to get those little pieces out of the tip. And then you've got your perfect little round shapes for the centers of your flowers. And again, you can color the centers or the flowers or anything with the Copic markers, or some watered down paint will work, but the markers are really handy. So that is pretty much all I'm going to get into on this demo. I hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon.